Have you ever reached a point in life where the noise around you was so loud, so chaotic, that the only way forward was to shut the door, lock it, and refuse to come out until something changed? That was me. The moment I realized that the success I was chasing in the world could never be built without first confronting the battle happening inside my own soul. And that's where this story begins. In a small room with a locked door, a worn-out notebook, a Bible that had seen better days, and a desperate promise I made to God. I'm not leaving this room until you show me how to build the life, the business, the purpose you designed for me. I didn't know back then that what I was stepping into wasn't isolation. It was alignment. What felt like confinement turned out to be construction. I wasn't locking myself away from the world. I was locking myself into my calling. At first, I expected some dramatic revelation, a sudden breakthrough, maybe even an overnight miracle that would drop a fully built business into my lap. But God doesn't grow a tree in a day. He plants a seed and waits for you to water it with faith, discipline, and sacrifice. Inside that room, I had to face the truth I had been avoiding for years. My failures weren't because of bad luck, lack of opportunity, or other people standing in my way. My failures were rooted in the habits I refused to change, the wounds I refused to heal, and the distractions I refused to cut off. And if I wanted a life of success, I had to become a person who could handle success. That room became a mirror, a classroom, a battlefield, and a sanctuary all at once. Every day I sat on the floor asking God questions. What do you want me to build? How do I start? Why haven't things worked before? Who am I supposed to become? And slowly, quietly, He began to answer. The first thing God rebuilt wasn't my business. It was my identity. He showed me that I was living from survival mode, not purpose mode. I was working for approval, not assignment. I was driven by fear of failure instead of faith in His timing. Until I confronted those truths, no amount of strategy, money, or talent would matter. And so, He stripped me down to the foundation. My character, my beliefs, my discipline, my convictions. If you've ever wondered why God sometimes delays your breakthrough, it's not because He's punishing you. It's because He's preparing you to hold what you were praying for. In that room, preparation became my daily routine. I fasted, I prayed, I gave up comfort so I could gain clarity. I stopped watching distractions, stopped chasing validation, and started listening to the voice that had been whispering to me all along. You were made for more, but more requires maturity. Once my mindset shifted, my creativity finally woke up. Ideas came like waves, unexpected, unexplainable, undeniable. God began to give me visions for the business I had been trying to force for years. But now the ideas felt alive. They had structure, direction, meaning. I wasn't building something random. I was building something assigned. Every time doubt tried to creep back in, every time I questioned whether I was capable, something powerful would happen. I would feel that inner push, reminding me that when God gives instruction, He also supplies strength. I started mapping out strategies, researching, planning, writing, structuring, designing. What used to overwhelm me now energized me. What used to confuse me now felt simple. It wasn't because the work got easier. It was because my spirit got clearer. Days turned into weeks, and I could feel myself becoming someone new. I stopped thinking like someone who hoped for success and started thinking like someone who was responsible for success. That room became the birthplace of discipline. I learned to wake up early, work without excuses, study without fear, and take action without second guessing. I realized that the blessings we want are often waiting on the habits we haven't built. And as those habits grew, so did the business idea God had placed in my hands. Suddenly the pieces connected: my gifts, my passion, my experiences, my pain, my purpose. It all aligned into something practical, profitable, and powerful. When I finally unlocked that door, I wasn't the same person who walked in. I stepped out with vision, strategy, confidence, and a burning conviction that if God is part of the blueprint, success becomes inevitable. The business I built afterward didn't grow because I was lucky. It grew because I was obedient. It grew because I surrendered the parts of myself that were blocking what God wanted to do through me. It grew because I learned that when you lock yourself in a room with God, you don't come out weaker, you come out transformed. And that transformation is the foundation of every breakthrough, every blessing, and every business built with purpose.